Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome you, and on behalf of Archbishop Wilton Gregory, Bishop Luis Zarama, and the faithful of the Archdiocese of Atlanta, I welcome all of you here to the Chancery for this exciting opportunity to meet Martin Sheen and his son Emilio Estevez. Martin Sheen has played U.S. presidents 4 times, most notably as the fictional Jed Bartlett in The West Wing, which earned him a slew of awards, including 6 Golden Globes, an Alma and 2 SAGs, and 6 nominations for Emmy Awards. The devout Roman Catholic has appeared in more than 65 films and is perhaps most famous for his role as Army Captain Benjamin L. Willard in Apocalypse Now. Now, Martin gave up his faith during the early years of his acting career, but became a devout Catholic again, and he says he loves his Catholic faith. Emilio Estevez is the oldest son of Martin Sheen. His acting career includes appearances in Stakeout and Young Guns 1 and 2. And he delighted the younger generation and gave hockey enthusiasts something to cheer over in his role in Disney's The Mighty Ducks. Emilio followed up with 2 more Mighty Ducks sequels. The Sheen Estevez family is very close and very well respected in the entertainment industry and is one of the most famous acting families that have ever appeared in film. Emilio is not only a fine actor, writer, and director, but he's an active father of 2 children. Please welcome Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here, and thank you for such a warm reception. And all of these cameras, we have no idea. So for those of you who know, and those who do not, we are currently on a cross-country pilgrimage of our own. We started 20 cities ago. Was it 20? 20 cities ago. We left Los Angeles and headed north, and then went south and then east. We have been on the road now for over a month. We've been taking our film out to what Hollywood likes to call the flyover states. We prefer to call them the United States. We believe in this film in such a way that we felt that the best way for us to take this film to the people was to actually take it to the people. The film will open here in Atlanta October 14th, but we're out here in advance of that just to spread the word. And again, we feel it's something. It's a movie that's important enough, and certainly it's got a ton of heart. Our hearts are in it. Our time is in it, and we hope you enjoy it this evening.
Hey, we always begin our Q&As with a question: how many Peregrinos are here? Is anyone that has done the Camino Santiago de Compostela? We got this couple right here. We talked before, Buen Camino, and you have not seen the film. You're in for a wonderful treat, I promise you. And how many people are here that are going to see the film tonight? Great. Oh, that's good. Oh, good crowd. Okay, good deal. We'll be coming after the screening for a Q&A, and we look forward to your response. So far, it has been so deeply gratifying all the way across the country. We've gotten a confirmation of what we started out with almost 6 years ago, because the idea for this film was born in the summer of 2003 when I was trying to do the Camino in a very short period of time. I had 2 weeks break during the summer of 2003 before I had to begin the new season on the West Wing. And Taylor Estevez, Emilio's son, was working for me as an assistant, and we were traveling together in Ireland and Spain with Matt Clark, a fellow you'll see in the picture tonight. He plays the rabbi/priest. That'll be explained in the movie, I promise. Yeah. At any rate, the 3 of us were trying to figure out how to do the Camino in 2 weeks. Es imposible, of course. So we did what any enterprising American would do. We rented a car and we drove the Camino for future reference. And we stopped in Burgos, one of the major cities along the way. And we stayed overnight in this Casa Rural, which is like a bed and breakfast in the country for pilgrims. And that night at the pilgrim supper, the family which owned the place was serving us dinner, and their daughter, this very beautiful young girl named Julia, came to serve supper. She took one look at Taylor. He took one look at her. They're still looking at each other. They're married. They live in Burgos, and so I came home with some splaining to do, and that started the whole idea that has now become the way. So I thought you might be interested in the initial birth of this thing.
We accept some questions maybe from the media?
Sure, yeah. No extra charge.
No extra. We'll let the media ask questions first.
Okay.
Well, that was the point, to come to the cities and the towns that Hollywood often ignores. Again, we felt the best way to take this movie to America was to actually take it to America.
The question is, has my faith helped or hindered my career in Hollywood? Would that be basically your question? Okay. I've often thought about that as well, and I'm almost certain that it has, for all those people that might take objection to my liberal stance on certain issues, social justice, peace issues, they might be reluctant to hire me for their projects. But I'm equally certain that there's an equal number that have hired me because of my stance. So I'd like to think it balances easy. For my own part, I cannot not do the things I do and be myself. My faith has taken me, particularly since Vatican II, and the option for the poor was, introduced into the church, particularly in Central America, where I spent a lot of time and energy and focus on peace and justice issues there. So for me, it was a natural progression. But like anything of value, it's going to cost you something. And if it doesn't cost you something, you're left to question its value. Yeah.
The year that we started filming, earlier that year, we started filming in September. In February, there was a Dutchman, a young boy that went out, first day out, got lost in the weather and died of exposure. There was a Korean girl that same year who died in the Pyrenees. Pyrenees has claimed the lives of several pilgrims. The weather is unpredictable. People get caught out. Some people get, some people who consider themselves experienced outdoors people get caught out. But the film is not based in any fact other than the fact that we are on the Camino. Yeah.
What would you find to be more difficult, the Camino or the bus tour?
That's a great question, and one we have not been asked yet. They're both equally difficult. On the bus, I can't really run from him, nor he from me. It's pretty close quarters. When we were on the Camino, there was space and a sense of space, and you could get away from each other. But here, it's pretty tight. But I
sleep on the bus.
It's very difficult to sleep on the bus. But I live right down the street from my folks. My mother and father have been together for 50 years, and they are my best friends. And so I live 200 yards down the street, as I said, and there's no sort of avoiding this. Hey, I hear you. I know you're in there. Hey, how you doing? I got an idea for a script. Open up. Right, and I'll be hiding sometimes. Yes.
Mr. Sheen, how was it to be directed by your son? Is that difficult?
I'm being asked how was it to be directed by my son. Well, it's one of the great pleasures to work with your children and to work with this guy. I mean, it's just a remarkable partnership. He wrote the part for me, and he wasn't going to do it without me because he could have gone another direction with this and gotten some much more popular, expensive star. Never mind. He got me on the cheap. I'm not saying that really, but he, At any rate, it's such a privilege and a blessing. But I had a great measure of anxiety because my biggest fear was that I would fail him, and he'd put so much time and energy and finance and much of himself and his passion and into it, and so much was riding on it, and I felt that pressure, and so I just prayed that I wouldn't fail, I wouldn't let him down. But he assured me all along the way that we were fine. You know, that he had every confidence in me, and it's the largest part that I've carried in a film since I can't remember when I did. I've never carried this big a part. I can't think since Apocalypse or sometime around that years ago. So I'm just deeply grateful to him, and we had a great fun. You know, it doesn't get any better than working with your kids, and when they're this talented, that's the best, really.
We started. Was it San Jose? August 27th, Saturday. And our first stop was San Jose. We went to Cathedral of Faith there, participated in their services, then on to Northern California, San Francisco, Mill Valley, then headed south to Phoenix, Phoenix, Santa Fe, Denver, Kansas City?
Texas.
No, oh yeah, Texas. Dallas and Kansas, and then Austin, Kansas City, then where? Minneapolis, Chicago, Notre Dame. We were there for the Notre Dame game. And they won. We brought the luck of the Irish. Michigan State, yes.
Dayton, Ohio, my
Dayton,
hometown.
Cleveland.
My wife grew up in Cleveland. Boston.
Boston, that's right, yeah.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Miami. Austin.
You already said Austin. No, but we loved Austin.
Tomorrow we're headed in a very special journey to Virginia Tech. You can tell them about how.
Right, there was an online campaign to bring the tour to Virginia Tech. So it began by a couple of students, and then it was picked up by a professor there, and then it went viral, and there was no way we could say no. So we're on our way there tomorrow. We're going to do a screening for about 3,000 students, so that should be interesting. Yeah.
A large part of our film is about healing, and we can't think of a better place to bring such a film. They've been an inspiration to the whole world, not just our country. But so we need to share that with these good and gentle people. I heard someone mention about being married 50 years. Yeah, I have an anniversary coming up, and I like telling the story of this old couple celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, and they went to the pastor and said they'd like to take their vows again. Would he? Oh, he would. He said, 50 years, how extraordinary, married that long. Did you never think of divorce? And the husband said, divorce? Are you kidding? Never. Murder, of course, every day.
So terrible.
We met in New York City. We're both from Ohio, but we met in New York City. I was doing a play at the Living Theater, and she had just won a scholarship to the New School for Social Research. And we had a mutual friend. I was living at their house in exchange for babysitting. He was a young actor and writer and painter, and he was the supervisor of this building on Avenue D and 14th Street in New York City. And they gave me a room in exchange for babysitting. They had these two little girls. After a while, I had a feeling he was trying to get rid of me when he said, "Have I got a girl for you?" And it worked out very well. We met in 1960. We were married in 61.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's actually a question for both of you. Now, obviously, it's very difficult these days to not really knowing what Hollywood's going to come out with. You know, is it really very rare for good, wholesome, values-based entertainment to come out of Hollywood? And this film, obviously, having the message of healing and things like that. I mean, is there anything in the works or in future plans for you all to continue this cycle for our culture and for society?
Well, you know, Hollywood, to your point,
And for the faith as well, sure.
Thank you. Hollywood makes a lot of crap. And we know that because we've been in some of it. So, and I apologize for some of it, but you know, moving forward, you know, and we've both done very different kinds of films throughout a long career, and if you're going to be in the business a long time, you have to make certain choices for economic reasons, career reasons. But I'm not interested in killing anybody anymore on screen. I just don't like the message that sends out. I just don't think it's pro-life. It's not pro-people, and the kinds of films that I want to make are also the kinds of films that I want to see, that are not loaded with CGI, that are not vulgar, that are, you know, and even spending the kind of money that they spend on films, $200 million on one movie, I think that's an act of vulgarity as well. I think you can tell simple stories, and I think it's, you know, the simplest stories are the ones that connect to all of us in a much more profound way. Yes, sir?
Either of you ever made a movie in Ireland?
We made a couple.
As a matter of fact, Father, I thought you'd never ask. I just completed a movie with my friend Daniel Breen, who's here, that you met earlier from Dublin. Where's himself? There he is there, yeah. If any of you are ever planning to make a movie in Ireland, I suggest you get in touch with Dan Breen, because every vehicle that is ever rented for a film in Ireland generally comes through his company. So you're going to need some wheels, and he will help you get around. We did a film last October, November, December, Dan, in Ireland, called Stella Days, which is a story about a man from my mother's hometown in Borrisokane, County Tipperary, a padre there, who had a great love for the cinema, as well as his parish. And he built a movie house. It was the first movie house, I believe, in northern Tipperary, wasn't it, Dan? Yeah. And he called it the Stella, which means the star. And he was very revered there, and one of the local residents wrote a story about him, and that's what our film is based on. It's called Stella Days. I don't know if it'll ever get here, but we can promise you it was made in Ireland. It was made in Tipperary, as a matter of fact. The first movie I made in Ireland was in 1973, called The Catholics, the Brian Moore novelette that was converted into a popular TV film with Trevor Howard, and myself. And the one in between that I did was called Da, from Hugh Leonard's play. So I've done 3 films there, all of which I'm very proud of, but no one has ever seen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I'd like to ask Monsignor Joe Corbett to come forward.
Archbishop Gregory was not able to join us today. He's out of town, but from him, a signed and blessed Bible for each of you. And again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. We hope to see all of you at the screening tonight, and then see the movie on October 14th.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Look forward to seeing you tonight. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Yeah.